You were. It was amazing. And, George broke so much ground in those movies. Technically, it was extraordinary what he pulled off in 1976.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. Just amazing. Yeah.
And you, obviously these friendships formed.
Yeah.
It's been 40 years later. You guys, a lot of you are staying tight. You and Ian McDiarmid have an interesting relationship.
Ian McDiarmid, and I don't think this is widely known, but Ian McDiarmid and I, the Emperor, started off in amateur dramatics together in a small town in Scotland called Dundee. And I met Ian when I was 17. He was the leading light of the drama society in Dundee. And so we did about 5 or 6 productions together as amateur actors. And then we both auditioned for Glasgow Drama School on the same day. And I remember leaving after my audition. Nobody knew if we got in or not, and I shook Ian's hand on the street and said goodbye to him, and I watched him walk up the road, and I thought, I'll never see that guy again. And we both were accepted. We went through drama school together, we shared flat apartments together, and so when I meet him now, here, for instance, it's kind of surreal, the journey we've been on, and he's an extraordinary actor, great stage actor too.
Can I tell you how much I would watch Wedge and the Emperor as roommates? Can I tell you how much I would watch that show? That's amazing.
Yeah.
But you're connected to Star Wars Galaxy in so many other ways. You are Ewan McGregor's uncle.
I have that privilege to be Ewan's uncle. Yeah. He's fabulous. Yeah.
Can we thank you for getting Ewan McGregor the job?
Well, no, God no, no. He did see me, hopefully when he was very young, like 8 or 9 or something like that, in Star Wars, and he was terribly, terribly excited by that.
Yeah.
But I have to set the record straight here a little bit, because he likes to tell the story that I told him not to do Star Wars. Now that is not accurate, I want to let you know. All I said was, be careful. Be careful of it. You don't want to be, as a young actor, you can get so identified with a role, it can be hard to move on.
Sure.
But of course, he's so adaptable, such a wonderful talent. There's no way, and I'm glad to say he completely ignored my advice, thank God.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we were very lucky that he did.
Yeah.
So here you are at your first celebration, mixing and mingling with this crowd.
Yeah.
Have you had any fan interactions yet that have been memorable for you?
Oh, I have, so yeah, absolutely.
Look at these people, they're so psyched. They're so psyched. Wedge is here, you guys.
I don't know, I've found some of it actually, to be honest with you, I find it very moving, a lot of it. People are just so generous and pleased to see me, and that's really bowled me over. And I've found, to be perfectly honest, some of it a little bit emotional. You know, I met a couple the other day whose house burned down 3 weeks ago. They lost everything. And they managed to salvage some of their posters.
What?
Yeah. And they brought them in to be signed, and it was terribly touching. You know, they were, I don't know whether they were destitute, but they really had suffered. You know?
That's amazing.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
Wonderful couple.
And to come here and to be surrounded by this community after something like that, a community that comes together over a love of this thing. Star Wars Celebration is really all about the heart of this thing and about the community of it.
Yeah.
It is so lovely to see you, Dennis. Thank you for coming to your first celebration. Hopefully we will see you at events for years to come.
I'll be back.
Dennis Lawson, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And we will be back with more from Star Wars Celebration in just a minute, right here on the Star Wars Show Live. Sir. Thank you.
Welcome, Delilah.
Thank you so much for having me.
I love when they put me out on stage with guests for a while and we just get to sit and chat because I just found out that I want you to be my best friend. You're such a
I kicked her butt at this, like Direct's mine.
She's so good. She pinned my little six-legged guy. It was nasty. So yesterday you had the Del Rey panel and the new book that you were working on was announced. Can you tell us a little bit about Phasma because our girl's getting a novel?
Well, as you know, I can't tell you everything. All right, I like that. We got it. Can't tell you all that much about Phasma because I wouldn't want to spoil it for you, but as you know, she kicks a lot of butts. And we're going to find out about how she came to do so.
So tell me about how, Phasma came to be. This is your first full-length Star Wars novel, and that's really exciting, but you're a huge, huge fan. You have been forever.
Oh yeah.
What is that like getting the call when they're like, hey, we want you to write, this novel about this amazing new character?
Well, it wasn't a call because I guess my agents and editors know I'm kind of scared of the telephone, like most people that were born after 1970.
Was it a text?
No, I got a pager on a beeper on my pager. So I called back. No, yeah, it was an email that came from my editor, and I made this noise that was kind of like Beavis on helium and meth at the same time, and it was very loud. My husband thought I was having a seizure.
Oh, but it was like, oh no, this is a good noise.
It was a good noise. It was 2 days before my birthday. It's a really good birthday.
That's a great present. And so we can't really say much about Phasma because it's not out until
September,
but that'll be really great to read.
Oh yeah, you want to read
The
it.
Last Jedi. But you also wrote a short story about one of my favorite background characters ever, Bazine. Can you tell me a little bit about The Perfect Weapon?
Sure. The Perfect Weapon is about Bazine Natal. She is the female bounty hunter that you see in The Force Awakens in Maz Kanata's castle, who is kind of like the narc who lets the First Order know
Right,
that
hanging out with Grumgar in the corner.
Yeah, they're like, well, I don't think they're buddies. I think she's using him, but that's just me.
I like that.
And so it's basically like just an awesome, powerful female spy story.
Nice. I had Governor Price up here earlier. I love our Star Wars bad girls. It's a great short story. Have you ever written anything and then submitted it in the story groups like, yeah, no, about that, we're already doing something else?
Oh, I mean, there's plenty of stuff. I was really excited about the thought that I could get Bazine onto the back of a Rancor. I thought that would be a great way to just get a lot of murder and devastation done, and they were like, no, she can't ride a Rancor.
Now, since you're such a huge Star Wars fan, I mean, you wear it on your sleeves and your back and everything. With the process of writing a backstory for such an epic character, tell me a little bit about how you prepare yourself for it, how the process works, working with the story group.
Oh, sure, it's amazing. We outline it first to make sure that we're all on the same topic and that we're headed in the right direction. I build up a playlist where, if you go on Spotify, all my books have playlists. You can see the music I was listening to while I was writing the book. That one is still called Beast Mode because the last time I listened to it, Phasma hadn't been announced.
That's awesome. So fans can go and listen to your Beast Mode Phasma playlist.
You can, although I did reveal in the last panel what was on it. It's the Rogue One soundtrack,
Okay.
the Force Awakens soundtrack, and the Mad Max Fury Road soundtrack.
That makes a lot of logical sense. That makes a ton of sense. I'm gonna have to follow that playlist. So you're here all weekend. You've been signing. Where can fans find you?
Fans can find me at the Del Rey booth, number 2522. I'll be signing with Christy Golden. We have a double-sided poster that's free. It has the Phasma cover on it, and I'll sign it for you. They also have some special sampler books that I can sign regarding Operation Blue Milk.
Ah, yes. The secret Operation Blue Milk that we can't talk about, but you are a part of.
I am a part of it, yes.
That's super exciting. When can fans kind of expect to learn more about that? Later this year?
I think that's all very secret. It's
that's
unrolling. I mean, blue milk is just a thing that happens. You can't control blue milk. It's a wild thing.
Well, I can't wait to learn more about it. Thank you so much for coming by. It was an
Thank you so
absolute
much for
pleasure to
having
get to
me.
sit and chat
I
with
hope you guys love Phasma.
Thanks, guys. And we will be back sooner than you think with more Star Wars from Celebration Orlando here on the Star Wars Show Live presented by Verizon.
that Star Wars celebration in Anaheim, EA took to the stage and blew the roof off of the entire event with their amazing Star Wars Battlefront panel. Well, this year, they're back to do it again in Orlando. Your exclusive first look at what's in store for Star Wars Battlefront 2 starts right now.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time, so please give a huge applause, a warm welcome to your Galaxy Stage host, David Collins!
Star Wars Battlefront 2! Come on, EA, DICE, Star Wars Battlefront 2. This game is huge. Look at how many cards I have. This game is massive. We've been talking about what we're going to share for a few days now. Of course, they've been working on this game very hard for you for a long time. Probably since the last time we talked about it 2 years ago. I was fortunate enough to be here on stage. How many were here in Anaheim for Star Wars Battlefront? Yeah. How many of you played Star Wars Battlefront like there's no tomorrow? Me too, I'm sure. I think you shot me, you definitely shot me, yeah. Well, trying to get to level 50 and beyond, but yeah, still playing Battlefront like crazy. There's so much more to talk about. We're gonna get right into it because there is a lot to cover. Please give a warm Star Wars Celebration Orlando 2017 Galaxy Stage welcome to developers who have traveled from all over the world, from EA, the creators of Star Wars Battlefront 2, come on out. Give them a round. Welcome to Star Wars Celebration. How's it been so far?
Amazing.
Wow, look at this. This is awesome.
Yeah. And for those of you watching at home as well on StarWars.com and all around the world, welcome to this Battlefront panel. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves to all these Star Wars fans and Battlefront fans?
Hey everyone, my name is Matt Webster. I'm the executive producer of Battlefront 2, and I'm also the GM at Criterion, and this is my first celebration.
Welcome.
Hi, my name is Bernd. I am creative director at DICE, and I actually brought something to prove my credentials to this crew. Can you put that up, please?
What'd you bring?
This.
Oh! 1984!
Yes, beat that. So, this is the first and only fan club I ever joined. So you have here in front of you a German Jedi from 1984. How about that?
I hear it's very useful to have a German Jedi in game development. That's what I hear.
I hope so.
Yes. Go ahead, Paula.
I'm Paola Giulio. I'm the content producer at Motive, and my focus is in making sure we'll deliver a high-quality game campaign, and I brought nothing, and I feel bad about it now. Sorry.
Hey, my name is Mark Thompson. I'm the game director at Motive Studios, and I'm super excited to be here representing our awesome team back in Montreal. I hope everyone is watching. I'll be checking when I get back.
For the dev team watching, welcome and thank you. So let's just get right into it, right? I mean, there's a lot to talk about. This is a huge game, so you're really bringing out the big guns for this thing. Is that right?
Yeah, we absolutely are. I mean, I've been making games for a long time, and I think now the modern blockbuster video games that we're talking about, that we're making these days, where the fidelity of play and visuals and audio and the experiences that we're making, well, it really needs us to fully realize the potential of Battlefront 2. We've brought together 3 studios. We've got DICE, the masters for the last decade and a half on award-winning multiplayer shooter games. We have a new studio in Motive that is filled with veteran action game developers and game makers, and my home studio in Criterion in the UK. We don't think we're the masters of game feel, and so the 3 of us together, it's a stellar lineup, creating probably what I think is the most ambitious title that EA's ever embarked upon.
It certainly sounds like it with people working on it all over the world in multiple studios. Yeah, that's amazing. So Bert, I have a question for you. Now, I know you're fairly new to the team, but what's it like coming in after the first Battlefront? What's next? What's next for Star Wars Battlefront 2?
So, I didn't work on the first game, and the cool thing is that I got introduced into the franchise in game form as a fan. And what struck me most, what still gives me goosebumps, is that I was on Hoth all of a sudden. It's a moment that I've dreamt of since I was a kid, since '84. And this game, Battlefront, put me there. And it still gives me goosebumps. And then when we started thinking about the next game, something that we do is we try to deconstruct the experience. What is it that gives you those goosebumps in the first place? And there are certain things that are so at the heart of a Star Wars. Your blaster, your lightsaber, your ship, and also your family, which is extremely important. And what stood out the most for us was that there's a chance for everybody to become a hero. And that's what is our lens, our mantra, our focus for the whole development.
Anyone on the battlefield can be a hero.
Exactly.
Right. So that's amazing. So if you're a soldier, not just a Jedi, if you're a soldier, if you're a stormtrooper, anything.
Anything.
And that's how you're developing the game.
Yes.
That's amazing. So I understand that you brought something to show us. Is that right?
Maybe.
Now, normally when we do these kind of panels, we talk, and then at the very end we show something. But you guys are just getting right to it, right?
Yes.
Big, wonderful Battlefront 2 reveal trailer. Let's roll it. Check it out. Battlefront 2 right here.
I've waited 30 years for this. I still remember my last orders. The day the real war began.
The rebellion cannot be allowed to persist. We weren't expecting special forces. That's the point, Sergeant.
Impossible.
Commander, what do we do now?
We avenge our Emperor.
Resistance. Rebellion. You will burn these ideas away.
Hope cannot save them!
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Okay. Wait a second. Now, there was a lot of great multiplayer stuff there, especially at the end of that thing. I was seeing so much great stuff, right? I mean... break this down a little bit because we got to talk about a few things. I hope you don't mind. I got a lot of questions. The first one is we got to talk about that single player campaign, that character. Single player campaign and character. I'm sorry. I'm at a loss for words. What can you tell us about that?
So the Rebellion has its heroes. It has its heroes like Skywalker, it has its heroes like Jyn Erso, but who are the heroes of the Empire? Who are the soldiers that can inspire the Empire in the Galactic Civil War? Who were the elite pilots that kids in the galaxy grew up dreaming of being? They wanted to go to these academies to become these elite pilots. Who were the commandos on the battlefield, on the front lines of combat, that could inspire legions of stormtroopers to be the great Empire? And that was the starting point for this story. We wanted to take off the helmet of a stormtrooper and find out who they were, why they believed in the Empire, and what it meant to be an elite Imperial Special Forces soldier.
I'm sure there are more than a few people who might be interested in that. Some Stormtrooper fans out here, I hear. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, the first thing we did when we started working on the game was talk to our players, and most of them didn't want to relive the exact story they seen in the movie on TV. So thank you very much for that, because that gave us the great opportunity to work on a new untold story that was complementary to the Star Wars universe, but will also bring a new perspective by giving the point of view of the Empire.
The point of view of the Empire. I mean, that's so interesting as a Star Wars fan. I mean, that's a perspective we haven't even really explored to this level before. Another question that comes into mind then is, when is this story set? I mean, we saw some stuff in the trailer, but can you confirm that?
Yeah, sure. One of the first ideas we have, and sometimes you just need a moment of magic inspiration, and then you can weave a whole story from that. And I think our defining moment was, we had this idea. When you see the Death Star 2 explode, in the movies and in that narrative, it's framed as a victory. You see everyone celebrating, partying with the Ewoks on Endor, fireworks across Coruscant is a big celebration for everyone. And we thought about this idea, like, what would it be like to be a stormtrooper on the ground and to look up to the sky and see the Death Star explode, and for that to be a moment of loss, a moment of defeat. And so that when you take off the helmet in disbelief and you look up to the sky, you immediately put that helmet back on with a new hardened resolve about how you need to take the fight back to the Rebellion, and that the Rebellion needs to die. And that was the starting moment for the story. And so we thought, let's pick it up from there. Let's tell a story that begins right at the end of Return of the Jedi. And then when Motive started to work on this campaign, it was at the time when The Force Awakens was still in theaters. We were all super excited about that jump of 30 years, because that leaves so many amazing questions. We were asking questions as fans and as developers. What happened in those 30 years? And so we thought, hey, let's try and tell one of those stories that connects these two amazing trilogies together.
Yeah. You said it best. Now, this elite soldier idea, who was that? Does she have a name?
Of course. That is Iden Versio.
Iden Versio.
Yeah, and she is the commander of Inferno Squadron, which is a brand new elite special forces unit that we've created with Lucasfilm.
You've been working with Lucasfilm. I imagine if you're involved in story as deeply as you are now, you must be talking to Lucasfilm on a daily basis.
Yeah, and so before we get into Lucasfilm, I'll just clarify, this will be a canon story. This is authentic Star Wars. I say that because Steve doesn't like the word canon. So I said it before he's here.
So, well, you just mentioned Steve. I think now is a perfect time to bring out someone from Lucasfilm Story Group, Steve Blank. Steve, you back there? Come on out, say hello. Steve Blank from Lucasfilm Story Group. Come on out. Hi. You got it in.
You said that word that I don't know. That's fine. That's okay.
So let's start from the beginning. How did this whole process start on this with Story Group?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, as Mark mentioned, right, this was something that's been in the works for a while, right? They saw Force Awakens in theaters, and then they came to us at Lucasfilm, and they sat down both with Story Group, including Pablo and Leland and Matt Martin and myself, with our games production team internally at Lucasfilm, with people like Matt Philbrand and Orion and Jeff and Marco, and they sort of came to the table, being Mark and Motive, and said, hey, we're really interested in this time span, right, between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, and we'd really like to tell a story from an Imperial point of view, specifically in that span. And what they had done a lot of great homework before they even came to us and said, okay, we've been reading a lot of the new materials that you put out there. We've been reading Aftermath, we've read Shattered Empire, we've read Lost Stars, and so we understand, right, those details that you're starting to lay the groundwork for, and we really want to use those to help us tell a story. And we were on board from day one with how awesome that sounded to kind of have that opportunity to tell a little bit more of what happens in that space, and specifically to do it from a really new perspective and a different point of view. And just to give props specifically to our writer Mitch Dyer, he was the one who had done a lot of that reading and a lot of that work. So this is our writer.
Who has read literally everything ever written about Star Wars.
Which is awesome from our perspective, because it comes in and it makes those conversations so much easier, because you're all starting from the same place.
And I want to jump in on that. It's not only that we cooperate on story and characters, you know, the big things.
Yeah.
I think someone on our team is talking to Lucas every day, and no matter how small or how big an item is, we always talk. It's every ability, every blaster, every screw on the little starfighter. We talk about it, and we try to find what is best, because it has to be Star Wars, obviously. Right. It has to be Battlefront, and it has to be right for our game. And that has been a tremendous pleasure. We also geek out a lot.
Yes, there's a lot of geeking out.
That's actually warm and comforting to hear, strangely, because I'm kind of geeking out a little bit right now. I'm not going to lie to you. So I want to go back to Inferno Squad and Iden. How did this idea start?
Sure. So there were multiple considerations in building out a team and an idea like Inferno Squad, right? And it comes from, right, we're making a video game first and foremost, and we know that while still telling a compelling story. So we wanted to find what was this right group of people that had the skill sets that would make sense for a game, that we wanted there to be aerial combat, we wanted there to be ground combat, and we wanted, you know, this character to be able to be proficient at both, right? And then from a story perspective, we were thinking, well, who are the most devout, right, to what they're following when it comes to leadership? Who's somebody who can be fully invested in the Empire, who can sit there and watch something like the Death Star 2 explode and go, I am going to double down on my commitment to this Empire now, right? This strengthens my belief in what we have and what the Empire stands for. And so all of that combined really led to this idea of like special operatives, right? People who have that type of training and also have that type of belief in what they are doing and those skills to be able to pull that off. And that marriage of those two is where Inferno Squad came from.
That's such a fresh take on heroism. You know, it's such a unique perspective for Star Wars, and I imagine you could just go on and on and on about her history. You know, what motivates this? I mean, I just want to find out so much more about this person. I mean, this must be something that you're exploring very deeply in order to tell this story in a compelling way.
Sure, yeah, I mean, sort of the backstory of Iden, and just to pause at Iden for a second, we do have our actress who plays Iden Versio here today. Janina Gavankar is here in our front row, if she can stand up. So there she is! Right? Just to give her a moment of awesomeness, right? There's a lot that we've put into this character, right? And there's only so much that you can put on a page, and there's only so much that you can talk about how you want this character to be a hero and to really stand for somebody who is heroic in the eyes of the Empire. And Janina really was able to embody that, right? And did a fantastic job to what we had imagined Iden always being. And so we're really excited for people to kind of see more of her and see this story play out. And we have been spending quite a bit of time also thinking about what her backstory would be, right? And who Iden is, and also who Inferno Squad is. And keen fans might recognize that name from something already.
Inferno Squad?
That's the one.
Does it ring a bell? Certain announcements? Well, we have another, I see there's a little empty space next to you, Steve.
There is.
Couch there. We have another guest. Shall we bring her out?
I think now's a good time.
Well, let's do that because I want to learn more about Iden Versio, and to tell us a bit more, please welcome Christy Golden, author of Star Wars Dark Disciple and the new book, Star Wars Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad. Come on out, Christy. Amazing. Welcome. Welcome to Star Wars Celebration again.
Thank you.
I want to ask you about the book. What can you tell us, and what did you think about it the first time you were approached about Inferno Squad?
Well, first of all, it was a really solid script, so that gave me a good jumping off point to get an idea of who these characters are. We took the story back 4 years, and when you pick up this book, you'll get a chance to see how they all met and what they thought of each other and what their first mission was and how they learned to become this well-oiled machine. And of course, as all good stories are, it takes a little bit of doing to get there.
And are we, no, yeah, please. Well, where are we going to go during this story? I mean, I'm sorry, I have so many questions. I mean, are new locations? Where's she from, her family? Anything you can tell us about that?
Well, it's really great. There are multiple locations, and one of them is her home world, and that of her father, Admiral Versio, at a place called Vardos.
Vardos.
And I was given some of the art to look at to be able to set the scenes there appropriately. And it's, as you can see, it's quite gorgeous and very striking. And one of the things that the team sent over, and I love this, I love being so involved at this level, was these trees that you see here. And they are positioned over pools so that when the leaves fall and they come in contact with the water, they bleed. And I was like, I can run with this. Just such beautiful little bit of details that as a writer I get to give some history to and backstory of. It was great.
Well, and this looks like such a new environment. There's so many, it's so different from what I remember in Battlefront. Is there anything else you can tell us about this environment that's unique for Battlefront? Because, I mean, I see Imperial flags everywhere. Right? This is obviously under Imperial occupation.
Yes. Yes. Vardos actually was brought into the Empire by Iden's father. So she has a legacy to live up to, big time.
I see. So this is a part of her family, to your point earlier. This is the Empire is personal for her.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, is this like a peaceful Imperial rule as opposed to an occupation? Is this, okay.
Yeah, so that's exactly right, because that's something that we had developed sort of in conjunction as we were thinking about the game, and a piece that we were able to pass back to the book, because it was so foundational for Iden. And the way that this kind of space came about was, since we were thinking of shifting the perspective from the protagonist's point of view, right, to be on the Imperial side, that also meant, well, we would need a different sort of view on a planet and where she's from and what she comes from. And so normally when you see the Empire, right, on planets in Star Wars so far, there's a lot of occupation, there's a lot of sort of force used to get onto those planets. And so we wanted to come from a place of, well, what would it look like if a planet willingly joined the Empire and fully believed in it and was absolutely 100% invested in it? And so we started to design that, and incredible props, right? This is no easy feat to design a new location in the Star Wars galaxy. It is a challenge, and there is a lot of work, as you can see from Mark's laughing, that goes into designing a new location. And on the motive side with Chris, and on our side with Hez, like, there was so much collaboration to really design this place to feel that home of the Empire and a place that was willingly part of it. And that's why you see a lot of these more brutalist-inspired structures and so much flair in those flags.
Now, and this is a very sort of urban environment too. You know, this isn't like the open battlefield of Hoth. Paula, what can you tell us about Vardos in terms of gameplay?
Well, Vardos will provide completely new design and gameplay opportunities because you'll be playing inside the city, so that's completely changed the gameplay from the, open sandbox style that you have in the multiplayer. And that's going to be only one of the new locations that Aiden is going to visit.
So you have different locations. Yeah, that's great. You have different locations and you have different heroes on each world. Can you talk a little bit about that process and working with Motive in terms of figuring all of that out? Either one of you, please, or both.
So this, so the story in the campaign really follows Aiden's journey, right, from the end of Jedi up to the Force Awakens, and as we follow her journey, we wanted it to touch and cross paths with some of the iconic heroes of Star Wars, from a narrative but also from a gameplay point of view, because I think what differentiates Battlefront for me is the fact that you get to step into the shoes of these iconic heroes. You get to put down the blaster and pick up a lightsaber, and you get to be a Jedi and kick ass on the battlefront. And so we wanted the campaign to be a reflection of that. We wanted the similar gameplay experience and flow in the story, and so we have these chapters, unspecified at this point number of chapters, where we'll step into the shoes of the iconic heroes, and we get to experience not only different gameplay but also a different chapter in these characters' lives, which is where the collaboration with Lucasfilm dovetailed so closely.
Yeah, and I mean, clearly, like what Mark was saying, it's a big undertaking, right, if you're going to tell new chapters and stories of characters that are particularly ongoing, right, and we know are still working in different mediums, and there are new stories coming, but it was something that they brought to the table from day one as sort of like, a core principle of Battlefront, like they've been saying, is to step into the shoes of a hero and really become some of those characters. And so we knew from the start that was something we wanted to bring also to the single-player campaign, and so we were finding ways to bring meaningful characters and known characters into that campaign in really sort of respectful and organic ways to the main story of Aiden and Inferno Squad, and also respectful of the legacies of those famous characters that are coming. And so what I can say, I can't specify how many.
Okay.
But what I can say is in the single player mode, in story mode, you will get to play as Luke Skywalker and Kylo Ren. Not bad.
Thank you.
It's not bad.
We saw them in the trailer, and I was just thinking, oh, please, timeline, put together 2 and 2 is 4. Yes, please, Kylo Ren and Luke Skywalker. That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, that is really, really incredible. Now, Chris, I know that your time is limited with us on this panel, but I know you have some news to share about your book. Is that right?
I do, but before we do this, I have to say a shout out. So often when you work with media tie-ins, the books are regarded as just kind of advertising material for the core product, but I have felt so included and so involved and so much a part of this. It's really been very, very special, and I have to give a big shout out to Janina, who reached out to me to talk about Aiden, to get some more of her history and her backstory, to bring that to her performance. So that was so appreciated and so much fun.
It's been a great collaboration across the board, right? We've all been talking, and there's a lot of cool stuff that we're seeding between these two stories that I'm excited for people to learn about.
Yeah, it's been a blast. The book is now entitled Battlefront Inferno Squad.
Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad.
And there's that cover.
That is a gorgeous cover, yeah. Round of applause, that's amazing.
And it will be out on July 25th.
July 25th. Excellent. Well, any final thoughts? I know you have to go, but thank you so much. Any closing thoughts?
I'm as excited as anybody. I just saw the trailer myself yesterday, and I am completely blown away. This looks like it's going to be so much fun, and it's such an honor to be connected with something like this. And my hope is that when you read the book and then you come to the game, it's going to give you a much deeper and richer experience, because you will have seen where they came from and now are seeing where they're going. So.
Just to build out my point a little bit, I'm just excited for people to be able to get their hands both on the novel and on the game and see sort of all of the hard work that everybody's been doing across these teams to tell a coherent story and to really understand who Inferno Squad is, learn about Aiden, and see her story through both of these products. And then, of course, just as a fan of Battlefront and games, there are some great gameplay moments that we have integrated into the single-player mode that I am excited for people to learn about and play too. So there's a lot of things to be excited about.
I cannot wait. Please give a round of applause to Christy Golden and Steve Blank. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you. I feel like we just covered so much. But you know, we haven't even talked about multiplayer yet. I mean, after playing so much of Battlefront, I have so many questions about multiplayer and game mechanics. Look at that. It's beautiful. So, Bert, multiplayer was the centerpiece of the original Battlefront. What do you
Yes, it was.
Huh?
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
What are you changing? Anything? What's up?
Well, a couple of little things that we brought to make it better. Like one thing is that we thought together with Lucas is what better opportunity than this year, the 40th anniversary, is there to bring more eras into the game. So we decided to have prequel, original trilogy, and the new movies represented in the game.
All eras of Star Wars playable in Battlefront 2. All.
And of course, every era comes with its iconic heroes, like our favorite here. Or actually, it's Matt's favorite.
I've got such a man crush on Darth Maul.
It's true.
I don't mind admitting it.
Yeah. What we did is we added a lot of things. I'm sure that this is for certain the biggest game that I ever worked on. There's so many things in there. There's more weapons, more vehicles, more heroes, more everything, basically. And I can't wait until our players get their hands on it. But one thing that we also wanted to do is, if we, you know, this mantra that we have, the hero's journey, that was really important to us, that it's represented in every aspect of the game. So when we looked at our troopers, we wanted to give them an opportunity to grow, to develop, so that a squad of really good players maybe has a chance to stand up against Darth Maul. So we introduced classes, you can unlock new abilities. Yes! I think that was the right call, Matt.
So this is a huge change and like, yeah, it's incredible. So you have different classes and you're basically upgrading. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of this. You're upgrading how your character works in match, but also through multiple matches.
Yes.
So infantry, sniper, heavy gunner, officer, those kind of things, that's what you mean by character class.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
They will be very familiar to our players. They're iconic to the Star Wars universe, so because we have maps from all the eras, we kind of had to do troopers from all eras too. Maybe we didn't really think that through in the beginning.
That's a lot of assets that you're creating, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Is that what you mean by huge when you say this?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think this is a great image as well. And it's this is representative of in-game, and it's great to have that breadth across not just the classes that we have, but across all of the eras too.
But the other thing that we looked at is not only wanted we to expand this game in scope, so make it broader, we also wanted to give it more depth. There's even more reason to stick around longer, to play more, to make your trooper the best trooper on the battlefield, or to improve your hero, to become a better hero.
Right, so it's not just like a bonus pickup. You actually can, say that again? You can improve your hero to be a better hero?
Yes, you can. You can upgrade your heroes.
That's gorgeous. So, how does this work in terms of the different worlds that you're going to be in and the heroes? How does that work in Battlefront 2? What can you tell us about it? What's different this time around?
Well, I think just talking about the heroes, I mean, these iconic, we've talked about troopers and a hero journey inside troopers, and I think that's something that's deeply rooted inside the Star Wars universe, where you have a journey from a farm boy to this super iconic heroic character, and this time the heroes, there's such a, in terms of the game, there's such a game changer. So when they enter the Battlefront, it's a moment, it's a real moment. I think it's a massive differentiator for Battlefront 2. This time we've got heroes that are way more physical than we've had before. So I don't just mean in terms of their abilities, but how they feel and how we expect people to play with them, and how we expect people to then choose to progress with the particular heroes that we have and customize them to suit how they like to play.
That's an incredible amount of depth that you're adding there. That's great.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, this is breadth and depth. So depth in the combat and inside the systems. It's just an incredible multiplayer team at DICE that are bringing this together. A decade and a half of super experience and really bringing that together inside Star Wars. It's a great combination.
I think one thing that is at the heart of DICE is this freedom of choice that you have. We give you a lot of tools, but how you face a challenge as a team, going up against a hero or in a starfighter or as a hero, is really up to you how you face that challenge. We call it rock, paper, scissors. So there's always a way for you to express yourself in gameplay. And I think that this is truly unique to the type of game that we are making. That you are able, together with your friends, to create these awesome moments of taking down the AT&T at the last second, and then everything blows up, and all of a sudden Darth Vader appears. These moments that just live once. They're truly yours. They're truly your own unique moment. Nobody else will experience it exactly like that.
Camino! That's amazing. There's so much depth and detail. Are we seeing that kind of depth in the world as well? Look how gorgeous those worlds look. For example, I think I saw a Tauntaun or two in that trailer. That's
yes,
new.
You did.
You did. You certainly did. There it is. It's an important point to make because we're covering all of these eras, and we're going to locations we haven't been before. And it's not just the surface and the structures that we're really concentrating on this time around. It's trying to make these locations feel alive, and so that's why bringing the Tauntauns into the game and the other things that we're doing inside these particularly recognizable moments that make these locations feel alive. It's just such a rich universe for us to draw upon, and players are going to see a lot of that in this game too.
And also, I've been waiting to ride a Tauntaun since 1984, so now I can.
As any good German Jedi is,
yes,
waiting to ride a Tauntaun. Indeed, I think we all are. Well, now you've talked about the hero's journey. I have this other question that I've been wanting to ask you guys about. I've been a little shy up to this point, but can you talk to us a little bit about the pilot's journey? Can we talk about vehicles? Can we talk about space?
Let's talk about space. The space battles, is the fantasy of being inside a space battle. It's such a thing for Star Wars. In my head, when I think about when we're talking about the Return of the Jedi, these moments of epic capital ships and starfighters battling it out, that is going to be a significant part of this game for multiplayer.
Yes! I'm sorry I cut you off. I just had an expression of joy kind of.
Yeah, much like we did. This is the area that we're focusing on at my home studio in Criterion, and for us it starts with this feeling of what it's like to put you in. We had a pitch actually. We started with the speeder bunk mission in the original Battlefront, and then we developed the X-Wing, the Star Wars X-Wing VR mission. Which we released in December, and for us this progression into epic Star Wars space battles with a range of starfighters across all of our eras as well, and it starts with how these ships feel, and and in your mind, it's delivering on that fantasy of being in combat. And we extend, as I said, across all of the eras. So you're going to get to see prequel era Vulture droids and first order TIE fighters.
TIE fighter, wow, all kinds of ships.
And those ships, they're going to mirror what we're doing with the troopers with classes. So different ships have different role types. Different ships have different role types, and of course we have hero ships as well. And so those different role types, those are also inside the progression. They're customizable. So very much like what we're doing with the troopers, we're extending into the starfighter pilots, because that is a part of a hero's journey on foot as a trooper.
So ships can be heroes.
Exactly right. Yeah, and we have heroic ships as well.
You can upgrade ships, you can upgrade troopers. Now, I'm assuming if you're on Hoth, you're going to see snow troopers. If you are, on Camino, you're going to see clone troopers, that kind of thing. That's kind of how it works?
That is correct.
Okay, that's amazing. There's just so much to look at here. I really want to play this thing. When are we going to get a chance to get our hands on this thing?
Well, let me tell you.
Please.
So I can tell you all, the worldwide release is the 17th of November this year. Now, there are a few ways in which you're going to be able to play the game a little earlier than that. And if you want some more details on that, then you can head to our website.
That's great, and that's right around The Last Jedi time.
Yes, it is.
That is right before The Last Jedi. Well, I can't wait, and I just want to go around to you guys with any more thoughts, any more closing thoughts. I know we still have a little bit more, and I kind of want to play that trailer again.
Oh, yes, please.
You guys want to see that trailer? Okay, but any closing thoughts before we get there?
Yeah, for me, as I said at the top, this is my first celebration, and it's just amazing to be able to share these details on behalf of our teams that we have at DICE, the amazing team at DICE that are working on multiplayer, and the other teams that we have at Criterion in the UK and at Motive. It's just such a privilege to be able to share that with an audience that is so... You can just feel the energy in this room. It's just a real privilege. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I want to say a big shout out to the home teams, in Montreal, in Stockholm, and in Guildford, right?
That's right.
Because we're sitting here, but they are really doing the work. So without you guys out there, I wouldn't be here. I would have nothing to show. And a round of applause, please.
Huge effort. Game development is just such a huge effort. So much hard work and so much love.
And so much fun.
And a lot of fun.
I guess we feel very, excited at Motive to be represented at Celebration for the first time ever, and really lucky to be building this single-player campaign on the foundation of two exceptional IPs like Battlefront and Star Wars. And we're really looking forward to show you guys what we've been working on November 17th.
And yeah, I'm super excited about in the campaign getting to take everyone on the journey of putting on Inferno Squadron's armor and truly believing in the Empire.
That's so awesome. Now, we're not done yet. There's still a couple things, right? Now, we talked about The Last Jedi. What can you tell us about The Last Jedi? Anything, any content?
Well,
what can we talk about here?
So we're a little bit ahead of the film in terms of our release. What I can say is that we have a terrific pre-order offer. This is good. Around The Last Jedi Heroes, and where players are going to get access to Last Jedi costumes for Rey and for Kylo, and also access to Last Jedi, Millennium Falcon, and an as yet detailed First Order Starfighter.
First Order Starfighter. That is awesome. Now, we have a couple other things. Before we play the trailer, my understanding is, wait, remind me again, how many of you were here in 2015, or actually in Anaheim? There's something we did then that we haven't done yet now. Not t-shirts, something better if I remember. So, for those of you watching at home, over the next couple of weeks, if you follow EA Star Wars on social media, you'll get a chance to do this too. But right now, look at this. PS4, tell us about this.
So, thank you to Sony. They have provided this custom Star Wars Battlefront 2 box with Iden on the front. And once you pull the lid off, with a PS4 Pro inside, custom controller. There's one of 4, and we're giving 2 away right here.
Right here. So, now, there are, and this is, I want to be very tactful about how I say this here. If you gently inspect underneath your seat, there are very clearly marked little tags that say winner, very clearly. Not, this chair was made in the chair factory. Not, this is a piece of chewing gum. Hey, come on up. Here's one right here. Come on up, come on up. No, here, come on up here, come on up here, come on up here. All the way around, all the way around. You okay? You all right? So what's your name?
Marley.
Marley, welcome. Where are you from?
New York.
New York. Thank you for coming. Congratulations. You are a winner of a PlayStation 4 Pro, Star Wars Battlefront. Oh, we have some stuff for you. Why don't you come on back there? We'll take care of you. And right up here, here's the other one. Congratulations. What's your name?
Nander.
Nander, where are you from? Texas. Welcome. Congratulations. Yeah. Texas in the house. Congratulations. Go on this way, and you'll be united with your Battlefront 2 PS4 Pro. That is awesome. Thank you so much. Once again, on social media, and you're not going to want to go anywhere. On social media, if you follow EA Star Wars online, you'll have an opportunity in the coming weeks to win the other 2. So be sure to do that as well. Now, I want to say to those of you that are watching in here, you're going to want to stick around, but I want to tell everyone watching at home and on the Star Wars show, on the live stream, thank you so much for joining us. Before we go, you guys want to see that trailer one more time? Come on, do you want to see that trailer one more time? All right, let's roll it.
I've waited 30 years for this. I still remember my last orders. The day the real war began.
The rebellion cannot be allowed to persist. We weren't expecting special forces. That's the point, Sergeant.